What's up, Skywatchers? What is up indeed? Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. For most of my adult life, I have watched the northern lights from the frozen shoreline of Lake Superior to the deep interior of Alaska. I've stood under some of the strongest solar storms in recorded history. I've watched X-class flares light up the sky. I've filmed the auroras during major geomagnetic disturbances. I've seen curtains ripple, pillars stretch, but I've never seen colors pulse like this. And what I'm seeing now isn't just the brightness, it's the structure, it's the banding, it's the rhythmic pulsing, the same kind of pulsing we constantly see on radar during severe tropospheric weather events. And that matters because auroras don't normally move like that. We are living in a different era than any previous solar cycle. For the first time in modern human history, we are actively transmitting high-power radio energy into the ionosphere. We deliberately heat the plasma regions. We conduct coordinated experiments in the exact layer where auroras form. We launch sounding rockets directly into active auroral arcs. We release chemical tracers into the upper atmosphere, and we operate multiple facilities simultaneously across continents. This isn't a theory, these are documented programs, and during this event, those programs were running. Now, the facilities at play were HAARP in Alaska and EISCAT across Scandinavia. The High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, HAARP, isn't a myth, it's a real facility with documented capabilities. They can ionize localized regions of the ionosphere, create artificial auroras, inject extremely low frequencies and very low frequency waves into the system, and modify electron density and temperature, coordinating with rocket launches from Poker Flat, and they openly admit all of this. Artificial aurora creation isn't a conspiracy, it's in the papers. And Poker Flat Research Range, just outside of Fairbanks, Alaska, uses sounding rockets, chemical tracer releases, optical diagnostics, magnetometer monitoring, and direct targeting of auroral arcs. This is where natural auroras become laboratory subjects. And the EISCAT European Scatter Array across Scandinavia utilizes high-power VHF and UHF transmitters, beam steering into the E region, plasma heating experiments, electron temperature manipulation, and artificial air glow generation. These are the same altitudes where auroras physically exist. These facilities were operating before the solar flares and the geomagnetic storm. That's not an argument. The argument is interference and amplification. Because the system is nonlinear, sensitive, threshold-based, highly reactive to small perturbations, which brings us to chaos theory. Chaos theory: small inputs, big outcomes. In a nonlinear system, tiny charges at the right moment produce disproportionate effects. This is the butterfly effect. Not metaphorically, mathematically. Auroral physics is a coupled system: solar wind, magnetosphere, ionosphere, atmosphere, and ground currents. When you inject energy into one layer, you influence all of them. So, when they are heating plasma, modulating currents, changing electron density, injecting artificial wave modes during an already energized geomagnetic environment, you change the outcome, not by brute force, but by timing and leverage. So when we're looking at magnetometers from Poker Flat and surrounding areas, we see sharp directional swings, sudden amplitude spikes, rapid oscillations, multi-axis disturbances, synchronized motion across stations. This isn't a quiet background. This is active coupling. The question is, what happens when we inject energy into a system that's already unstable? Mainstream reporting says just the sun, full stop. No mention of active ionospheric heaters, coordinated radar arrays, rocket experiments, chemical releases, artificial aurora studies. That silence is intentional because once humans touch the system, it's no longer purely natural. We are seeing a global electromagnetic infrastructure expanding space-based systems, militarizing the upper atmosphere, running experiments with no public consent, operating in a legal vacuum. This is the same pattern. Technology first, consequences later, denial always. We've seen it with nuclear testing, Agent Orange, atmospheric experiments, biological research, surveillance systems, and so why would this time be any different? This fits into a larger framework: the sixth mass extinction, technocratic governance, smart infrastructure, environmental engineering, weather control, population management. These aren't my ideas. They are in books, they are in policy papers, and they are in government documents. I'm just connecting the dots. So we know coupling exists, and what I'm showing you is the timing, the active facilities, auroras behaving differently, magnetometers responding, global anomalies appearing. Once you introduce human transmission into a natural system, you change the experiment. The moment we start recreating nature instead of observing it, we cross a line. Alright guys, this isn't the end of the story. On January 28th of this month, HAARP will be doing more experiments. Okay, Skywatchers, stay aware, be prepared, and until next time, keep looking up.